Okay, so you want to take a deep dive into love and relationships, huh?
And looks like someone's been doing some serious reading on the topic.
Lots of Toltec wisdom here.
Excerpts from Don Miguel Ruiz's The Mastery of Love.
Definitely a classic.
A little dense at times, though,
Yeah,
but don't worry.
we're here to help you decode it all.
We're going to unlock those secrets to happy and fulfilling relationships.
And maybe learn a little bit about ourselves along the way.
Ready to dive in.
Absolutely.
So
Where should we start?
let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is this mastery of love all about?
Well, at its core,
Yeah.
it's about understanding the ways in which we sabotage our own happiness,
Okay.
especially in our relationships.
So we're not just talking about romantic love here.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Ruiz's ideas apply to all kinds of relationships, with
Yeah.
family, friends,
Yeah.
even with ourselves.
Okay, so it's a broader perspective on love than just that romantic ideal.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing the patterns we create
Okay.
and how those patterns can sometimes prevent us from experiencing the love and connection we crave.
So where do these patterns come from?
Well, Ruiz talks a lot about the concept of the wounded mind.
The wounded mind.
Yeah, it's this idea that we all carry around emotional baggage from our past.
Okay.
Past hurts,
Hmm.
traumas.
Yeah.
But it goes even deeper than that.
How so?
Ruiz suggests that these wounds are often a result of what he calls domestication.
Domestication.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm following.
So it's not about house training or anything like that.
Okay, good.
He's using domestication to describe how we're taught from a young age to suppress our true selves to fit in.
Fit in.
Yeah.
So we learn to follow rules,
Right.
please others.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, we kind of lose touch with our authentic needs and desires.
Exactly.
So these wounds aren't just from specific events.
Right.
They're a result of how we interact with the world around us.
Precisely. And those wounds can manifest in all sorts of ways in our relationships.
Like how?
We might become afraid of vulnerability.
Okay.
We might try to control others.
Mm-hmm.
Or we might constantly seek validation to prove our worth.
So we're basically walking around with these invisible shields protecting ourselves from getting hurt again.
Exactly. But
Okay.
the irony is that those shields often prevent us from experiencing the kind of love and connection we crave.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
In a way, yes.
We're so afraid of getting hurt that we end up pushing people away,
And then we feel lonely and isolated.
which just reinforces that belief that we're not worthy of love.
It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, so we've got these wounded minds running the show.
Right?
Is there any hope for us?
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
But first, we need to become aware of those wounds.
Okay.
We need to understand how they're impacting our relationships.
So it's about bringing those unconscious patterns to the surface.
Exactly. Ruiz uses this powerful analogy of a parasite to describe how these deeply ingrained beliefs can take control of our lives.
A parasite.
Yeah, I know it sounds intense,
It does.
but think about it.
Okay.
If you have a parasite,
Yeah.
it's not something you chose.
Right.
It's something that's feeding off of you,
Okay.
draining your energy,
Yeah.
preventing you from thriving.
And he's saying it's the same with these negative beliefs.
Exactly. We didn't choose them,
Yeah.
but they can have a huge impact on our well-being.
So how do we get rid of this parasite?
It's not as simple as taking a pill, unfortunately.
Oh, figured.
But Ruiz offers a lot of guidance on how to heal these wounds and break free from these limiting beliefs.
Like what?
Well, it starts with becoming aware of them,
Okay.
recognizing those moments when that inner voice of fear is taking over.
So it's about becoming a detective of our own minds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to start paying attention to our thoughts and behaviors,
Yeah.
noticing those patterns that are keeping us stuck.
And then what?
That's where the real work begins. And that's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
Stay tuned, folks. We're just getting started.
All right, so we've uncovered these wounded minds lurking within us.
And we're constantly navigating between love and fear.
But how do we actually start putting these Toltec ideas into practice?
Well, it's a journey, not a quick fix.
Okay, sure, but where do we even begin?
With awareness.
So, like we talked about before,
Exactly.
becoming detectives of our own minds.
Precisely the first step is to simply notice
Notice what?
those moments when you're operating from a place of fear.
Okay, so when I feel that anxiety creeping in,
Exactly.
Right.
What are the thoughts running through your head?
okay, so I'm paying attention to my thoughts.
And what are the sensations in your body?
Oh, interesting. So I'm tuning into my physical feelings too.
Right. What are the behaviors you're engaging in?
So I'm observing my actions as well.
It's about becoming a keen observer of your own internal landscape.
Okay, that makes sense. But what do I do with all these observations?
Well, as you become more aware of those fear-based patterns,
Yeah.
you can start to challenge them.
Challenge them. How?
Ask yourself, is this thought really true?
Oh, so I'm putting those thoughts on trial.
Exactly. Is this behavior serving me?
I like that, putting it in terms of what's useful.
Is this how I want to show up in this relationship?
So I'm considering the impact of my actions on others.
It's about taking responsibility for your own inner world.
Okay, so it's not about blaming others for how I feel.
No, it's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond.
But what about those times when I just can't help but react?
It takes practice.
I'm sure it does.
And remember, no one's perfect.
That's comforting.
We all have those moments when we get triggered.
Yeah, especially when someone pushes our buttons.
Exactly. But even in those moments,
Yeah.
you can still choose to respond with awareness.
So how do I do that when I'm feeling overwhelmed with emotion?
It might be taking a pause,
Okay, just a moment. To collect myself.
taking a breath,
To calm my nervous system.
or even just acknowledging to yourself, okay, I'm feeling triggered right now.
So I'm naming the emotion.
It's about creating space between the stimulus and your response.
So I'm not just reacting on autopilot.
Exactly. You're
Right.
giving yourself the opportunity to choose a different path.
One that's more aligned with love.
Precisely, it's about moving from reaction to response,
I like that.
from unconscious patterns to conscious choices.
This is starting to feel empowering.
It is empowering because it reminds you that you're not a victim of your circumstances.
You're the author of your own story.
Exactly. And you have the power to rewrite that story.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
So what will you choose to write?
So we're talking about this magical kitchen.
And that's right, the magical kitchen.
This idea that our hearts are these boundless sources of love.
It's a beautiful image, isn't it?
It is. It really challenges that scarcity mindset we often have around love.
That feeling that there's not enough to go around.
Yeah, like we're all competing for a limited supply.
What if that's not true at all?
What if love is actually infinite,
Exactly. What if we already have everything we need?
right here within us?
It's mind-blowing when you really think about it.
So how do we access this unlimited love?
Well, it starts with recognizing that it's already there.
Okay, so it's not about creating love,
No, it's about uncovering it.
peeling back those layers of fear and doubt.
That's a good way to put it.
So what are some practical steps we can take to do that?
Well, one thing Ruiz emphasizes is the importance of forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, both forgiving others
Mhm.
and forgiving ourselves.
Okay, so it's about letting go of those past hurts,
Exactly those grudges we hold on to.
the resentments that keep us stuck,
It's about releasing that negative energy.
so we can create space for something new.
And remember, forgiveness doesn't mean condoning what happened.
Right, it's not about saying it was okay
It's about choosing to move on.
for our own well-being.
Exactly. It's a gift you give yourself.
And it's not always easy,
No, it takes courage and compassion,
especially when we've been deeply hurt,
but it's so worth it
because it frees us from the past,
and allows us to step into the present moment,
where love is always available.
always waiting to be received.
This has been such a powerful conversation.
I agree.
It's really challenged my assumptions about love,
And hopefully inspired you to take a deeper look at your own relationships.
to see them through the lens of love rather than fear.
Remember, the journey starts within.
And the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself.
So nurture that relationship
Cultivate that inner garden of love.
and watch as it blossoms in all areas of your life.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep practicing the mastery of love.